So good morning, everyone. So today we are going to have a hands-on practice on this linear regression and gradient descent. Hopefully, you have studied this linear regression algorithm and how it performs its operation. So I just take few moments to just get the overview of this linear regression and how we are going to apply the gradient descent algorithm. So, as you all know, now linear regression algorithm, just we can take an example before going in detail. You can see here, we have two values. We have one x value. We have some x value, and just take x value is 2, and we can say the y value is something 4. And if we want to find out the relationship, then relationship between these two, we can say y is equals to 2x. Okay, so generally when you make a system, then if you have a x value and you know the rule, then you can definitely find out the output value. And let's say if we have a sequence of number just like 2, then 1, then we have 0, when we have 5, we have 7, and so on. And let's we have a value of y4 2, 0, then we have 10, and then we have 14, and so on. So directly we can see the rule which is by which we can find out the value of y is y equals to 2x, y equals to 2x. Okay, so there are two things. If you know the input value, if you know the input value, and if you know the rule, if you know the rule, then you can easily get the output. If you can easily get the output of y. Okay, because the rule is y equals to 2x, you have the value of x, and you apply the value of x over here, you can get the value of y. But now what deep neural network actually performs the operation. Now here what we know, we have some input value, and we x, and we also have the output values y, because these are the actual labels and this is the input, which we have already discussed these things. So we have the actual labels, we have the input values. Now we give these two to a machine, and then this machine has to find out this rule, so how is it possible for a machine to find out, how we can find out the relationship between x and y? And once we are able to find out the relationship by using this machine learning, then we can give any testing input. You can give any test input, then it will definitely give you the output, because you have formed the rule. So this is the basic behind the machine learning, deep learning, where we have the input values, we have the corresponding output values, and we have to form
The
the
screen is not visible, sir.
screen is not visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Now it's visible, sir.
is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So I just repeating this thing. So what I am just talking about, okay, we have the input values, and we have the two values x and y, and let's take the relationship between these two is y equals to 2x. So if I have the value of x, then I can calculate the value of y directly. But now the situation is different. Now what I am doing, for a machine, I am just giving some input x, and I am just giving the actual output, which we are doing in our previous machine learning, deep learning network, which we have learned. So now we have the actual output, we have the input, or now we have to apply the machine learning, and we have to find out the rule. Here we have to find out the rule, and once we are able to find out the rule, then you will be able to test a particular input value. You just give any input value, then it will give you the corresponding output, and that output will be 2x in this particular example. So here our purpose is how we are able to find out such rules. Okay, how we are able to find out such rules. Okay, so this is being find out by using a architecture which we have designed, that is a deep neural architecture which we have designed, which extract the features automatically, and it's just try to find out the relationship between these two. And we do this but by a particular algorithm, that is a gradient descent algorithm. So this is a particularly very simple algorithm. This is a linear regression problem, basically, where this y is linearly related to this x, and we have to find out the relationship between these two when we have these two x and y, and we have to find out this relationship. So how we are going to do this? Let's try to understand now in more theoretical form, and then we will try to implement it using TensorFlow. So now here you will see. Okay. So now let's take the linear regression problem. You have already studied. I think Dr. Kusum has discussed this linear regression problem. So now in this linear regression problem, let's take, we have n number of training samples. We have m number of training samples, and these m number of training samples have feature values. Input x is the input feature values. So we have some x, different m number of x values, and then we have the corresponding y value. So this we can represent as a training example. So x, just in this example we have taken x and y. So this pair is known as a training example, and one value of this we can take 2, and corresponding value is 5. So this is the one sample. This is the one sample which we are talking about. So here x is only 2 and y is 4. So here this is the training sample, and then we have the as we have the n number of training sample, m number of training sample. Let's take next value is 3 and 6. This is the second training sample, and so on. Okay, but here we are talking about the n is the number of features. N is the number of features. Now what do you mean by this? Here we have just find out the relationship between y and only single x, only single x. But when this x has more dimension, the input is of more dimension. That's mean y is just like a0 plus a1 x1 plus a2 x2 plus so on. Okay, that's mean now y is a function of x, but x has more number of dimensions. So here we are talking x has n number of dimensions. So if we have n number of dimensions for a single input sample, so if I say these x, capital X represent x1, x2 and so on, one number of features of x, then we can say y is a function of the number of feature number x, capital X, and its corresponding value. We can just take just like theta, which we have to find out, because we have to find out this a1, a2, a3. X is fixed, y we know. We have to find out this a1, a2, a3. Only then we will be able to find out the relationship. So here this x is contains n number of features, and we have to find out this relationship. So this is the linear regression problem, because this is a linear function, and we have to find out the value of the rule by which we can associate it x and y, and then finally we will be able to give any x value, and then it will give us, it will guess the uh, y value according to the formula which is formed by using its learning process. So this is all about what I have just told you. So this is, as theta is nothing but the y value. This is the y. Y is equals to theta 0 plus theta 1 x1, theta 2 x2. So there is a relationship between y and x has n number of features. X has n number of features, and this is the relationship. This is the relationship between these two, and you can say here we have to find out the theta value. We have to find out the theta value because x is fixed, y we know, and we have to find out the theta value after the learning process, after each of the learning process. Okay, so now in simplicity form, let's take this is the x0, and x0 is 1. X0 is 1, so I can write as theta 0 x0, where x0 is 1. So this particular formula, this particular relationship can be written like this: hx equals to I equals to 0 to n number of features theta tx. So here what I have to do, I have to learn this theta parameters. So in our algorithm, in our gradient descent algorithm, how we should start? We start by initializing the theta with random values. Initialize this theta with random values. Then we find out the output, then we calculate the loss function, and then we find out the gradient, then we update the weights using these gradients. And after this step is repeated n number of times, and after the n number of times we are able to get the weights, automatic weights, and then we fix those weights, and those weights now used to train to test the system. So this is the overall structure of the gradient descent algorithm. So here we are going to use a gradient descent algorithm, and where the cost function which we have already studied, mean square error, we are using over here. So here h theta xi, this is the predicted output. This is a predicted output. Y is the actual output. We just find out the difference and the square of this, and then we find out the summation of this total loss, and we have just divided by 1 by 2. Okay, so why have we have divided by 2? There is a logic behind this is, and since we have to find out the derivative, and when we will calculate the derivative, so this 2 will be crossed out by this 2, so this will easy out the operation. So this is the algorithm which we are going to use to minimize the j theta. J theta is the loss function. So algorithm is very simple. We'll start with the random. We'll start with the random theta. Then we will calculate the loss. Then we will calculate the derivative. Then we will update the weights by using theta minus eta del upon del theta with some eta value. And this process is repeated. This process is repeated n number of times, n number of times. And after this n number of times, we will fix the weight. We will fix the weight theta, and then we will give the test input, and it will with the fixed theta, and it will give us the y output. So this is the whole process which we are going to perform using this whole process. Okay, so this is the formula of updating the weight, where alpha is the learning rate. We all already discussed these all things. So this is the graphical iteration. You can see here we have to start with some random point, and then iteration by iteration we will try to reach to the minima, and after some particular moment of time we will merge. We will converge to a particular lower value. So after number of iteration we will try to reach at the lowest value. But it doesn't matter if we are reaching to nearby the lower value, then it will also work for us for our applications, many applications. So here we are trying to implement this linear regression gradient algorithm using this TensorFlow. Okay, so now let's go to TensorFlow and let's try to implement this one. So let me share the complete screen first. I will share this. Okay, so now my screen is visible. So, first we will open the Google Colab. So let's open this Google Colab. Let's make a new notebook. Okay, so now we have to implement the linear regression. So let's type over here. So we have to implement linear regression. And gradient descent. I am writing these things because I hope you should also have a practice to write the commands, to write the comments, and so that it will be helpful for you and for your future practice. Once you got the practice, you will be able to write everywhere, whenever you go to a company or whenever you go for an online competition. So these comments are required. What you are going to do. So next is first we have to import the necessary libraries. So this in this linear regression gradient descent, then we will apply the libraries. So import, we have to import the libraries. So necessary libraries we can just we have to import. You all know we have discussed in yesterday session. We have to import the TensorFlow first. Import TensorFlow as we just give it a object as TF. Then as we have to uh, import more libraries, since we are going to use n number of samples, and these n number of samples we can store it in an array. And to work in Python with an array, so we need a NumPy. So we should use the NumPy. You have already gone through the NumPy library, I think, in this whole session, in this workshop. So I just only write import NumPy as np. So here I have to import the NumPy to work with the arrays. Now, important thing is now here, since in TensorFlow 2 has merged the actual TensorFlow and Keras. Okay, basically, Keras is a API that gives a very simplified version of the machine learning statements. So what they have just clubbed these two, and now we can easily there are lots of ambiguities are there in TensorFlow 1, and so these ambiguities are removed and very simple functionalities of Keras are just taken over in in this TensorFlow. So now we have to import the Keras library from this TensorFlow. So we have to import that also from TensorFlow. So from TensorFlow import, we have to import and the Keras. So now we will use this Keras application in this TensorFlow libraries and try to use the very simplified functions. And now we just execute these statements. So this will all will be imported now. Now next step is we have to take the data set. Definitely next step is we have to take the data set on which we have to perform the training, and without data set there is we can make the model, but without data set we can't perform the training. So we have to take the training data set. So we just write training data set. So here the training data set, so now we have to define the training data set. Now in this particular example, what I am doing, we are just taking only a single feature, to simplify the operation. So here we are just taking only single feature, means only single value of x. That means y equals to 2x type relation we will find. So no more x we will take. So there will be only single feature. So n value will be 1. So now this way we can define train x. So this is the we have to use an np to array to declare the sum of the n values of x. So we can write np dot array, np.array. Then here we have to take n number of values. We have to take the how many samples we want to take. Let's take m samples we have to take in this in our example. What you have taken, uh, you have seen here we have taken these inputs: m number of features, m number of training samples, x input value, y output value. This is the training sample. Okay, so we have to take all these values. So what should I do? So we have to take m number of features, m number of inputs, m number of inputs. Okay, so m number of inputs, and here we are taking n is the number of features. N is the number of features, and here n is equals to 1. Here n is equals to 1. We are taking only one feature. Okay, so here what we are doing here, we have to now initialize the training samples. So here we just take some of the training samples, m training samples. So just initialize the value. Just take first value is 3.3, then we can take next value as 4.4, comma next value we can take as 5.5, next value we can take as 6.71, next value we can take just like 6.93, next value we can take 4.16. These are the random values which we are taking, random value. Okay, we don't know whether there is a relationship will be formed or not, but we will try how machine is able to find out the relationship or not. We'll calculate the loss and we'll try to analyze that loss. So 779, and then we will take 6.182, and then we will take 7.59, then we will take 2.167, then we can take 7.042, we can take 10.791, then we can take 5.313, then we will take 7.997, then we will take 5.654, then 5.654, and then we can take 9.27, then we can take 3.1. So let's take these values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17, three more values we just take 2.5, and then again we can take 1.32 and 9.41. So we have taken these 20 values. Now we have to assign the corresponding label. Corresponding label means,
Yes, it is not visible.
yes, pardon please,
Yes. Now screen is visible.
visual. Okay. Okay, now we have taken 20 training samples. That's mean m value is 20. M value is 20 and number of features is 1. That's mean every sample has only one single value. So now we have to take the corresponding label. So here the corresponding label, we can type train train underscore y. So now we have to take corresponding sample in terms of array. We can take in terms of array, then we have to take this. Now what we have to do, we have to assign the corresponding value. When x value is 3.3, then we should know what is the value of y, and that is a label, that is a var label, training label. So let's take random values over here also, 1.7. As I have just previously explained in the example, that we have taken the x value as 2 and y value we have taken and 4. So we have directly find out the formula is y equals to 2x. But here it is not easy to find out the relationship manually. So here machine will help us to find out the relationship. Okay. So 2.76, then 2.09, then 3.19, then 1.694, then 1.573, then 3.366, then 2.596, then 2.53, then 1.221, then 2.827, then 3.465, then 1.65, then 2.904, then 2.42, then 2.94, then 1.3, and then we can say for 5.6, then 3.4, and then 1.5. So we have taken these input as well as the output values. Okay, so we have the training x values and corresponding y value. So this way we have taken the training data set. Now next step is, after taking the training data set, I have to define my model. I have to define my model. Now which model we are talking about? We are talking about the deep neural network. So we will just first define a very simple model. So first just execute these two. So now we have to define the model. Define model. We'll try to define two different models to understand what we are going to do. So this is the model one, and then we have to define the model. Now how we can define the model? So here what we can do, let's start with a very basic model. Let's start with a very basic model. Here you will see, here screen is visible. So here we have a x single input. We have x single input. Then we can take a one neuron over here. We can take a one neuron over here, and after getting the input, then it will generate the output. It will generate the output. Okay. So what we have to do, we have taken, so this is the input layer, this is the input layer which we are taking, and we are taking only single neuron, and we have to generate the output. So we have to design this particular simple neural network and try to understand how it is going to perform. So it is very simple to define the model using the Keras. So we have to write model, we have to define the model, and then we have to use df dot Keras. So we have Keras. Then since it is a sequential model, we are working on the sequential model. So how the sequential model can be find out? So we have to write sequential. This is a Sequential means we are not using the parallel operations. Okay, so we are working on the sequential. Then we can take. We have to define now the layers. The thing is, we have to define the layers. So we are now defining the layers. Keras, then dot layers. Everything is defined already. Actually, we have to know the name only. Layers. Then we have to define the dense layer. Dense layer, all neurons are connected with each other. Input layer neurons are connected to hidden layer neuron. Hidden layer neurons are connected to the output layer neurons. So we will use dense. So dense, that means this layer is a dense layer. Then then we have to define the units. How many we are defining a one layer. This is defining one layer. In this layer, how many, this you will see here, it is showing units. How many units, how many neurons you are going to use. So here we have taken only single unit, so we will just write one. Okay, then we have to define the input to this layer. So I will just write input shape, input input underscore shape. So input shape is equals to, now here the input shape is only one. Input shape is only one. So I will write here one, because input value is only, there is only one feature. So I will write only here one. Okay. And then let's try to see this model. So to see the model summary, we can write model dot summary. And let's try to execute this. Yes, you will see here we have designed a model. Now, what this design and what this model is describing, this model describing that we are using a dense layer. The layer type is dense. It is not convolution layer. It is a dense layer. Okay, and dense. The meaning of dense is all the input neurons are connected to next layer neurons, or the previous layer neurons are connected to next layer neurons. Next layer neurons are connected to the, all the neurons are connected to the corresponding next layer neurons, and so on. Now output, you will see here output shape. Output shape, it is showing only one. Output shape is showing only one, because we are using only one neuron. Okay, one neuron. Okay, and it can take any number of inputs. None means any number of inputs it can take. And then number of parameters which it has to train is only two. You can see here we are only using one neuron, so one will be connected to the input layer, and one will get it will we will get at the output layer. So we will only get the two parameters to train. So it is a very simple model which we have designed, Now after defining this model, now we have to build this model. We have to build this model. So to build this model, we have to write. We will also use some more complex model after this particular model. So we have to build the model. So now we can build this model. And how we are going to build. So you can see how easy we can create the layers. So now we can make the build the model. First, we have to define the optimizer. In output layer, we have to define the optimizer, which optimize algorithm we are going to use. So I will just write optimizer is equals to tf dot keras dot optimizer optimizers dot, which we have to use. We have to use stochastic gradient descent. We have to use stochastic gradient descent. There are different ways to write these optimizers. I am just writing the simplest one. Now we can define here the learning rate. So learning rate is the learning rate, and let's take a very small learning rate, 0.001. We can take this 0.001. You can take any other learning rate. So here we have defined the optimizer. We are going to use stochastic gradient descent with learning rate 0.001. Now we have to compile this model. So we will compile it. Model dot compile, and then here first we have to find out the loss in a compilation. This is the optimizer, but which loss function you are going to use. So we will just assign the loss function over here. So loss we can take here. We are taking a mean square error. So we will write mean square error. These are already defined. They are already defined. Then comma. Then we have to take the optimizer to compile. Which optimizer we have to use? We have already defined it. The optimizer is We have given it a name as optimizer only. So we will write here optimizer. M-I-Z-E-R. Okay. So now we have built this model. Now we have to run this model. So now we have designed the model. We have compiled the model. These two operations are now performed. Now this definitely architecture is complete. Now we have to train my model. Now we have to train my model, and model is trained using the training data sets. So I will use here. I have to train my model. Train the model. So I have to train the model, and then how I am going to train the model. It is also very simple. We use fit function. So model dot fit. So we will use fit. Then we will use what we have to supply to train the model. We have to supply the training sample. We have to apply the training data. The training data is we have already defined train underscore x, and we have to give the corresponding label also train underscore y underscore y, and then we have to define the number of epochs. There are other parameters are also there. You can go through once you can understand. You can go through with other parameters also. So epoch, let's take the epoch number. We take the 500 epochs. Okay. So now we have to train the model. So let's try to execute this. Now just we see now it is started training. You will see here what it is showing. So here in the first epoch, just take 1 millisecond for a step, and the losses you will see here. The loss is 47%. The loss is 47%. So loss is 47%. That means the loss is mean square error is 47%. Then in iterative next after this step, what actually have performed? We have find out the gradient, then we have updated the weights, and then we again find out the loss. The loss is reduced to 40. That means training is being performed. Then you will see here loss is reduced. That means every time we are updating the weight so that the loss should be minimized. So we are doing this process, and you will see here drastically the loss is being minimized. And after the 500 number of step epochs, the uh, the error rate is 1 point. The loss is only 1.58. That means it is getting very close to the answer, very close to that relation which we have to find out. So this is the output of when we are applying the very simple, only a single unit model when we are trying to do, then its output is this one. Okay, now we can perform the prediction. We have completed the training. Now we can also perform the prediction. So let's predict the model. Prediction. Prediction means now we have to give some training samples. We have to give the some training samples. So now how we can give the training samples? So we have to define test underscore x is equals to we have to take the training sample. So here again we will take the array np dot array. Then we have to define the training samples. So you can take any number of training samples for which you want to test your data. You want to test your data. So let's take some few 6.83, comma 4.668, comma 8.9, comma 7.91, comma 5.7, comma 8.7, comma 3.1, comma 2.1. So we have taken these values, and since this is a test sample, it will generate the output. Definitely y will be generated. Then we have to calculate the accuracy. To calculate the accuracy, we should know to predict to validate the data. We should also know the its corresponding label. So we also take the label so that we can calculate the error rate, final output error of the trained system. So we can take this y as a label, considering as a label. There should be a validation. Actually the testing test data means there is no y value, but here we are just using it as a validation of our system. So here we are using np dot array, yes, array. Then we have to give some corresponding labels to 1.84. Then we can take 2.227. Then we can take 3.2. Then we can take 2.831. Then then we can take 2.92, then we can take 3.24, then we can take 1.35, then we can take 1.03. So this is the training. This is the training samples which we have taken. Now we have to predict. So to prediction is very simple. Now we have to predict. So we will write prediction. We'll store that prediction in this particular variable. So we will write prediction equals to model. It is very simple to predict. Model dot prediction. So we will model dot predict. Then we have to give a testing sample. Testing sample is test x. Test underscore x. Test x is there, and then we have to flatten this data actually. So we have to flatten. Okay, and then because we have to give one by one, so we will just flatten this in a column vector actually. So now we have to print the output. So print, you know, all the print function, the output labels, and is, sorry, we have to close this, then this dot format, and the format we have to print the prediction. So prediction. Okay. So this is the print which we have to print. Then finally we have to calculate the error. We can also calculate the error. Error will be np dot sum. How we are going to calculate the error? Actually, we will just subtract the predicted value and test y, and we will just find out the sum of that value. So we can write prediction minus test underscore y. So we have just subtracted the predicted output and the test y. So this will give us the total differences, and then we will sum up all these values. Then we can print the error also. Print error is, then format, then we can use error. Now I think it is clear to all of you what we are going to do over here. So here, let's try to execute these. There is some error. The error is test y is not defined. Okay, okay. This is test y. So this is test y. So let's again execute. So now you will see here the output label. The corresponding output label is generated as the actual. It should be 1.84, but it is generating 2.49. Then 1.85, then 3.10, then 2.8, 2.15, 3.04, 1.3. You will see we are very close. We are very close. We are very close. And the error, if total, if we calculate the error, so error is calculated like 1.84 minus this plus this minus this plus this minus this. So we have just find out this value. The error rate is minus 0.6893. So this is the simple example which I have just represented. Okay, how we can predict how we can make a simple deep neural network for linear regression model. Now what we do, we define a different model. It's a very simple model. Now we make it a more complex, more number of neurons we can add over here. So let's try to do what we can do. We will just modify in this only, or what we can do here. We can take I just modify it. I just write here model 2. Sorry, I just write here model 2. So in model 2, now what I am doing here, now I am just taking the one layer. First layer is the dense layer. Now I am using, in place of one, I am using 10 layers, 10 neurons. In the first layer is, we are using 10 layers. I can also define the activation function. Activation, and activation I am using as, we can use RELU. I can use RELU, RELU. Different features are there, which attribute which you can use. So I am also using here activation. Then we have to use input shape is same. Input shape is same. There is no change in the input shape. Then I have to define another layer. I have to define next layer. First layer I have defined the dense layer having 10 neurons. It will use a ReLU as activation function, and its input is input shape. Its input is this one. Now next layer which I have defined is Keras dot layers dot dense, because it is also a dense. We are working on the dense layer. Then what I have to define? I have to define the number of units. So I can simply write this number of units, or I can write units as well. So I just simply write 64. Let's take, we are taking now 64 neurons. In the second layer, I am using 64 neurons. Then activation, I am using ReLU. Now there is no need for to define the input over here. Why? Because already for this layer, the input will be the previous layer. So this is the previous layer, and this is the first layer. You will see here in this layer, the input layer is this is the input which we have to supply. So input layer contains the input values. Then we have the first layer having 10 neurons. Then we have the second layer having the 64 neurons. Then we define one more layer. One more layer. Keras dot layers and dot dense. Okay, and here we only define one neuron as the output layer. Okay, so this is the total layers which we have defined. Now if we execute these two, so you will see now this is the model summary. This is a model summary. For simplicity, we can we can press the enter sign, so it will automatically take these values. So you will see here we have created three layers. So the first layer contains 10 neurons, second layer contains 64 neurons, and third last layer contains one neuron, and these are number of parameters. That means total number of connection, and total number of connection represents the total number of weights, and those weights we are going to train. So here we have increased the number of layers, and once we have increased the number of layers, we can optimize these layers. Then there's nothing we have to change. Then we have to train the model, and you can see we are now training this model. So so now we are getting some loss, approximately 1.4 something, 144 something. Okay, yes, 1.4 something. And then we can predict the output, and they're the same. So you can say once you make the error, you can see the now it is the error is much lesser than the previous one. Now you can see here what we have did here. It is very simple to make a deep neural network. Everything is same. First you have to define the libraries, then you have to define the training data set. Once we define the training data set, then you have to define your model. After defining the model, you can build this model, you can train this model, and you can predict the output. Everything is very simple. Now what you have to change every time? You have to change this model only. You can change, you can add more number of layers, you can add more number of neurons, and you can train your system. So this is all about how we can make a deep neural network for linear regression using gradient descent algorithm. Okay, so in the next lecture, everything is written over here. Next lecture we will make a model for image classification in the evening session. Okay, so how we can make the neural network for image classification. Now session is open for the problems. You can ask the problems. Yes, please.
Students, Participants, please ask any query.
Okay, sir. I think there is no query. So let us bind the session, and we'll meet in the evening at 4 p.m.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.